Hey, what's the jingle for Ace Hardware?
Ace is the place for the helpful hardware folks.
It has been 3 years since we have gone to Ace Hardware to check out what they have and build a complete EDC. And again, Ace is a little bit different than other stores because they are franchised and they can carry kind of what they want. So they have a selection of stuff that they can get from Ace, the parent company, or like their factories, distributors, whatever. But then they can also kind of offer other things. Like some of your Ace Hardwares might have Benchmade or Spyderco or really nice knives, maybe even Civivi knives, but some of them don't. So we went to the local Ace that we went to last time, Pointers Hardware, here in Concord, North Carolina, to see what's changed. And with that said, let's do the damn thing. All right, so how much did we spend at Ace Hardware? Ricky expected about 200 bucks.
Like 250.
Honestly,
max.
extremely short-sighted.
Yeah, 100%.
Do you know me? Do you know me? What does that say?
Let's see. Nice. $359.57.
We did get some extra things for the office. Nope, these 2 packs of zip ties were $3. So here is what we got at Ace Hardware minus the zip ties. We have keys, we have some pens, we have a knife, a multi-tool, another knife slash multi-tool, and a flashlight. No wallet, no watch. It's Ace Hardware. They don't have those things. That's typically what we run into. I'd say most of this stuff is new that we haven't talked about, so we can start really anywhere. Let's do keys. All right, so Key Smart. This is not something new. We've talked about these before, but not in a long time. I don't think they've changed much. $20 key tool. You can just crack it open, and it works like that, right? You have your key on it, and it just kind of rotates out. It's similar to what I carry, but it has 2 sides. So mine is a single key organizer with a magnet. This is a double-sided, so it works effectively like a Swiss Army knife. You can put keys in it. Keysmart also sells tools that you can nest in there with your keys if you don't need, 8 keys or however many. The benefit, because I get this question all the time when we talk about key organizers, people are like, why do you need to organize your keys? One thing that I really like about a tool like this is that it keeps your keys in the same order. So you can pull it with your eyes closed, get the right key, unlock the door. You don't have to look. So for me, that's been really, really nice. So Key Smart, and of course, we need to add a tool to that. I typically do. I don't typically go with the Nye ties, but they did have both of these there, both doohickeys. It's the old original and the new one. I think if I had to choose one, I'd probably go with this new one because it's got like a cord cutter built into it, which I can show you right there. It's serrated. So this would most likely be like TSA friendly, but you could still open stuff because it's just sharp enough. So we have those 2 things. This was 20 bucks. This was like $6 or $7. And then I did get these tiny carabiners. Like I would typically go with a bigger carabiner to put this on my belt loop. But the reason I went with these mini S-biners is because I needed them.
I was gonna say, you like those. Like typically when we do these, you end up buying those smaller ones.
I get smaller ones. I would typically go with something bigger than this for dangling this off my belt loop, because this going on your belt loop is kind of, it works, but I mean, it's a 2-hand ordeal. What I needed it for is I have an S-biner this size holding my Diamondback key, but I want to lose that key, so I wanted one that was locking. This little tab here flips, so you can access and then lock it out so it won't come undone. I lost something very recently with one of these that wasn't locking, so I used this as an opportunity to get some locking S-biners. But yeah, you could probably just throw that down in your pocket, clip this thing to it, throw it in your pocket. Basically any hardware store that you can go to that cuts keys will have like little key tools and key chains and stuff like that. But key solution, we're talking like 25 bucks. Most people are probably gonna say they don't need that. Pens, we don't normally get pens at hardware stores. If we do, it's usually like a Sharpie pen. This I didn't expect to see, but I should have, because the owner of that Ace Hardware, Danny, he watched the channel before and was surprised that I came to his store. And he had some decent EDC gear there last time, but this time he has Right in the Rain. He also had a Right in the Rain notebook, but it was more like a 5x7, not like a pocket notebook. So these are made by Polka for Right in the Rain. And it's kind of like a Bic pen, but it is waterproof and very, very small and lightweight. Before we go any further, we need to take a moment to thank the channel sponsors who make all of this channel and what we do possible. First up, we have Worksharp. They make amazing knife sharpeners. They also have a knife out. It's the RMX. They do restocks at 10 a.m. PST every single Monday, so go check that out. Also, we want to thank bigidesign. They make amazing pocket tools and pins. They recently dropped USA-made lookouts in Nitro V. Go check those out, and you can use the link in the description down below and coupon code BDEDC for 10% off at checkout. You can also find us on Whatnot. It is a live auction platform. Think of it like eBay meets TikTok Live. We hang out, we have a lot of fun. Sometimes we eat pickled eggs for money, but we also sell off a lot of knives and bags and all sorts of stuff. You can also find things like Pokemon cards and vintage clothing. There's a lot to be found on Whatnot. So hit the link down below or use the QR code right here for $15 off your first purchase. And I also want to thank Carry Commission, which is my store, and currently we have these in stock. We recently dropped these. This is the ProTech Malibu Carry Commission exclusive in a green Topo Warncliffe blade, Magna Cut steel. Those are still available right now. And we also have the Canine Jack. This is the newest knife from Jack Wolf Knives. This is a dog leg pattern, and this is the Carry Commission exclusive in a green G10 with a checkered milling, as well as blasted titanium hardware and a stone-washed S90V blade. These are available, so go check them out over on Carry Commission. They have our good friend Zach in the Wild's favorite tool at this Ace, the Milwaukee Fastback. Can't get this open. Oh, it's got a... Give me a few minutes and I can figure anything out. Give me an hour. Give me an hour.
Multiple few minutes.
Is it the 1505? Is that what he calls it? That sounds right, but he calls it something. It has a model number, and this is his favorite thing, maybe in the world. Am I stupid? Don't answer that. There we go. Give me an hour, I can figure anything out. Milwaukee Fastback is the quick flip utility knife that you guys all know and love. It has a bottle opener right here, and it has a screwdriver with a two-sided bit on it in the handle with a liner lock on it. The liner lock is what always throws me because it's the opposite. It goes that way. It's like a top liner for a screwdriver. Whoa. Milwaukee was ahead of their time. The thing that drives me crazy about this tool is that there are other Milwaukee Fastbacks that have reversible clips. This one does not, and it might be because of the screwdriver, but this one's always tipped down. It just drives me crazy. But Milwaukee Fastbacks in and of themselves are some of the best value utility knives that you can get. There's a million knockoffs now. They're just kind of everywhere, and it's because they were so popular and so good. So button lock utility knife for what, $19.99, 20 bucks? I guess legendary at this point, so had to grab one. Even if it's not even part of this carry, we need more utility knives in this office because we do not have enough. Never enough. Flashlight. There were several options in flashlights that I think were decent. They had both Coast, like the 100 lumen small AA Coast or AAA Coast, and then they had the 2 AA Coast, so the longer pen light. They had another pen light of some sort, and then they also had that Milwaukee one that has the little rubber grip for your teeth. But I saw this and I thought, let's check out this Nebo light, just because Nebo has like really kind of stepped it up a little bit in the last few years. They have a couple of lights that are decent. You know what? I'm gonna make this way harder than it needs to be. Cue the comments about me cutting towards myself.
Yep.
Hey, don't suck with a knife, you can cut towards yourself too. So the interesting thing, and one of the reasons I wanted to grab this, is because it looks like they just straight up took off a page out of Olight's book, but that is really weak by comparison. I mean, if it charges, it doesn't matter. And then there's a headlamp in here, which I missed that part. I saw headlamp on it, but for some reason my brain defaulted to like clip it to your hat. I do know this flashlight was $35.99 or 35 bucks. I thought that was a decent deal for what is a 600 lumen flashlight, but all the Nebo lights that I've ever had, the worst part of them has always been the like UI. It's always like they just overcomplicate it. I really appreciate a very simple UI on a flashlight, and it's like I don't want strobe in just in one of my standard modes. Like if I want to get to a strobe, I'd like to like double click, but Nebo I don't want to have to go through a strobe mode to turn this thing off. Okay, you don't. This is what I mean. Like, so I can click it, I can click it again. I guess you have to quickly click through to get to the strobe.
Is it quick double click for strobe? Is that what it is? Yeah.
Maybe. I guess that is it.
Yeah, you
Okay.
have some other flashlight in there that's the same way.
And then I guess long press goes straight to turbo, even if you're on. Okay, so if it's on a long press, that goes to turbo. Double, okay. So that is actually a fairly straightforward UI. I jumped the gun, it's not as bad as I thought. Good job, Nebo. I also really like headlamps that clip in. This old rubber loop system is like, it works, and the good news or good thing about a double loop like this is that it will work for other flashlights too. But if you take this clip off, you can probably do it with the clip on still, but you just like slide it on the flashlight. And it's nice, you can rotate the angle, but I just really like how Phoenix does it because they use the clip to clip into the clip. But it makes it so that you can quickly, without looking again, just kind of slide it into the head strap and then slide it out. So it's a little bit easier than this. That's okay to get out, but you're not gonna quickly slide this thing in there. But again, this is half the price of that Phoenix that I used. That seems to work really well for what it is. I would not be upset with this for 35 bucks. The thing is, like, that really feels like it's barely connecting. But I mean, shit, if it makes a connection, it makes a connection. It snaps on, and this is like, hey, if it charges, then so be it. But again, some people hate the fact that there are rechargeable batteries like this, but this looks like a pretty standard 16340. I don't know if that's a standard size. Typically, one of the reasons I really like those Phoenix lights that are pretty comparable to this is they are USB-C recharging, and then also the batteries are replaceable. This seems like it might be a pretty specific battery. All right, this is the big one, the big question mark for me. Gerber Dual Force. So a few years ago, again, referencing our good friend Zach, he did a video where he carried one of these for like a month and determined whether it was a hit or miss, and I think he called it a miss, and it was cool. And I've always been interested in this model. They did have a center drive, but I've bought like 7 or 8 center drives over the years, and I always get rid of them. I wanted to see what this Gerber was about. I want to see what it's like for myself, so maybe I will carry one. I don't know. That is a big tool. But you have the option to adjust the pliers out. So you can open it up for bigger bolts and bigger jaws, or close it down for, I wouldn't call these needle nose by any means, but closer to needle nose.
I think Zach's feedback was that the adjustment like wasn't significant enough.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like a lot of extra like width in the jaws. It's a cool concept. You also have outside accessible tools, which you have a file here. And one thing that Gerber does that I just don't love is their files. You have what I would probably consider a metal file here and like a wood file here, but there's no diamond file. I love and use the diamond file more than basically any other file. Like, that's the file I want. There's a saw, obviously still a center drive screwdriver, so you can turn this thing and your multi-tool is not like flopping around. That's one of the best features that Gerber has put on a multi-tool, period. And then a big straight edge, plain edge knife. There are tools on the inside as well. God, that is a really tough lock to get to. And a bit is stored right there. So a spare bit. And here. But on the inside, no, there aren't any tools on the inside. That's it. I don't know why I was thinking there were. It's just those big main tools on the outside and then 2 bits. So maybe that's another piece of what was like a miss, is that it doesn't have like little things. But again, like, I don't use an awl like ever. I have a couple of times. I don't use the bottle opener. I don't use the can opener. Can't tell you the last time I used a can opener.
Yeah, you're mainly scissors, pliers,
Scissors,
knife
file,
guy.
plier, knife.
Yeah.
Is mainly what I use.
I think Zach didn't like the fact that the file had the pry bar at the end, and I think he found that over time the bits would fall out of those little bit storage things.
Yeah.
Like, I think overall the build quality I don't think is as good as you would assume it would be on a tool that's kind of meant to see some hardcore use.
Yeah, and it costs what, 130 bucks?
Yeah, exactly.
No, yeah, 150. So we'll see. I mean, I don't know if I'll end up using this thing or not. Maybe we'll do something with it around here. But I did like the center drive. I don't hate the center drive at all. I just felt like we needed to give a different multi-tool a look. If this were for me for keeps, I would probably go back and exchange it for a center drive. One thing that I found interesting is that Ace used to carry Leatherman. I think I might have gotten a Leatherman in that old video. I was looking forward to getting a Leatherman. But it is very interesting to see how different the options are at different Ace locations, because at this one, they've got Gerber and they've had Leatherman, they have Gerber knives, they have case knives, some actually fairly nice case knives. But if you go to the Ace out by my house, they have so much smoking stuff. They have Traeger and Blackstone and all sorts of cooking stuff. They have nothing in this realm. The only knives you'll find at that one are like true utility knives. I wouldn't buy one of those. The other thing that bothers me about this is that it doesn't like close all the way, that there's a gap. And there's no pocket clip or anything, so you'd have to use that pouch. The wonderful belt pouch.
You know, I tried real hard to use the pouches that came with all the Leathermans, and I just don't get it.
I'm not ever
Maybe
gonna
I'm
be...
not old enough, you know? Maybe when I grow up, the pouch will make sense.
The only thing I can say that I've ever used kind of like this for a multi-tool is like a Tell of Knives belt organizer. Something that holds multiple pieces of gear I've used, especially one that clips on, so I can clip it on, and if it's uncomfortable when I sit down, I can just take it off. And finally, the last thing we got is this Gerber knife. This is the Affinity, one I've never seen before. I have to be honest, I don't keep up with Gerber models because they have a lot. But what was interesting is they had quite a few Gerber models, and almost every single one was 7CR or, even worse, 5CR. That's fine on a $30 knife. I think it's okay. But I'm still a very firm believer that for what I paid for this knife, which was 60 bucks, you could just get a better knife for 60 bucks. At 60 bucks now, we're looking at, I mean, my knife, we have Nitro V, we have the Yonder at $50 with 14C28N, really great action, you know, really nice clip. But Gerber, I can already say, based on this and the past Gerbers I've bought for videos like this is an improvement for sure. Like the last Gerber I bought for a video like this was a flipper, and no matter what I did, I could not get that knife to open with the flipper tab. It was bad. I took it apart, I tried to clean it, I tried to fix it, and the edge was completely blunt. It wasn't even sharpened. Like I could drag it across my hand, it wouldn't cut. It was bad. So if this even just cuts the cardboard, D2 steel, it has an adjustable thumb stud, which is a nice feature. So if you don't like where it is, if that doesn't work for you in your hands, you can move it up or down by loosening that set screw there. And it's copper. I believe that's copper. It looks like copper. It doesn't smell like copper. Is it just a coating? Copper grip. I think this is probably the best Gerber, like non-USA made Gerber I've ever had. I don't have much bad to say about this. The clip is not like amazing, but that's a decent enough knife. I don't hate this. I don't hate that at all. Centered, works well. It's on washers. It's got a stabilizer, a nice copper stabilizer. I like the black and gold look. Damn, that's pretty sick. And that's it. No, what I said about there being better knives for the money, probably. I don't know how Gerber's D2 heat treat is, which is kind of crucial for D2. If I had to grab a knife quickly off a shelf, ignoring the scenario being completely illogical for me, because a million knives, if I needed one quickly, this is probably the cheap, quick knife that I would buy nearby. The only thing that would maybe go against that would be like a Civivi or maybe a buck at Walmart. That's definitely the best Gerber knife I've ever handled, for sure. I don't know if they're just like on notice and they're like stepping it up, or they just had a good win, but the last like decent Gerber knife I had would be a flat iron. And that was a long time ago. That was like shortly after I started this channel. So it's been a while, but that, I wouldn't be mad recommending that. That's cool, that's the Gerber Affinity. All right, let's take a real quick look at what we got here. Obviously not all of this is going to make sense, like a fastback, a knife, and a multi-tool. So we'll take the fastback out. Minus a wallet and a watch, we have a pretty complete carry here with the Gerber Affinity. We have the Nebo Einstein 600 Plus, the Gerber Dual Force, a Key Smart to organize your keys, as well as a little key tool, which you wouldn't necessarily need, but that also, a polka pin, and an S-beaner. As far as like matchy-matchy goes, not so matchy-matchy, but utilitarian for sure, and it would get the job done. And the total price for this stuff right here, not what I spent total, $290.
Hey.
Wow, 300 bucks for this. It's this right here.
Yeah.
This being 150 instead of like 100 bucks.
I mean, you would swap that out for the
center drive, which was $100.
yeah, so
That would be a better.
bang for the buck.
I'd take $50 off that. $250, $240 for this. Not bad. So this is the best gear we could find at the Ace near us. But what does your Ace have? What's the surprising thing that you found in an Ace hardware? Because I mean, honestly, I'm surprised by this. Mostly by this right here. Also, tell us in the comments down below where we should go next, because it's been a while since we've done Bass Pro, REI, we even did Target in the past. We've done a lot of these. I'd like to know where you would like us to go next. But that's it for now. I'll see you guys in the next video, and until then, carry on.